Hey folks, I'm going to jump straight into some tips. The first thing I want to show is just something really simple, and it is selecting multiple things. So if you want to act on two things at one time, if you just click them, it doesn't really allow you to do that. But if you hold, select one, hold your shift down, and select another, or then you can perform actions on those at the same time. So, alright, if I only have one selected, I want to adjust the height from 20 to 30. I would just click that little top box there, or cube, when it turns red, and change that directly. And then I could do the same thing for this one. But if I wanted to do it at the same time, I could click one, hold down my shift, click the other, and you see that cube moves to a centered position. You click that, change it to 30, and there you go. So remember, select one, hold your shift, select another. You can drag them together, you can perform actions, you can scale them by holding the shift key down and dragging a corner, all kinds of things like that. And it doesn't group them, it just temporarily treats them as one. Okay, so next thing, steps. Steps is a big deal, especially if you're looking at precision stuff. So down here in this corner, you'll see right here your snap grid is set to 1 millimeter, and that's fine, that's great, nothing wrong with that. But if you really want to get a little more granular, what that means is you'll step by 1 millimeter each time you drag, or if you want to lift something up, you'll see the height there going in increments of 1. But you can change that to another value. So 0.1 is the most granular that you can get. So that's great. Also, another thing, if you have something that's kind of up in the air, it's off of that, and you don't want to change the size or anything, you just want to get it down to the base plane, just hit your D for drop, and it drops it right to the base. Okay, so steps. Aligning two things. Alright, let's do something that I saw recently. Let's just manually make this some arbitrary value. Okay, say we wanted to put some holes around this, 8 millimeter holes. I'm going to go 8.4 millimeters just because I know my printer, and I know it's going to require 8.4 to actually get 8. So when you're making a hole in something, if you're not going to be interfering with another object, it really doesn't matter how tall or short you make it, just as long as you can get the through hole if you want a through hole. Okay, so I want to put this here, 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 and here. Okay, so I'm gonna, remember how you select two things? I'm gonna hold my shift key and select both of those things. Now I want to align those things. Now I can use the shortcut key L, or let's see, this is the align icon. So I can hit align. Now I want to align that based on this. I want this to stay the same and this to move. Okay, I want it to be centered this way, and I'd like it to be on this edge right here. Okay, so that's good, but I really kind of want to move that in, let's just say, I don't know, 3 millimeters. So since my snap and my step is 1 millimeter, I can just hit my right arrow key with that selected 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Great. Okay, now I could do that exercise again. I could duplicate this and align it over here and back up and do all that. But if I had, let's just say I wanted to do this 15 times. Well, let's just see. I'm not that smart, so I'm going to say, what is 360 divided by 16? 15 times. That's 24. Okay, I want to rotate this 24 degrees around this circle is what I want to do. So I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to duplicate it by hitting Control D, or I think that's Command D on Macs. Now I'm going to rotate this whole thing 24 degrees. Now watch this. When I hit duplicate again, Control D, it thinks, oh, you want to do that same pattern again and again and again. Okay, well, let's do that. Now look from the top. That's pretty cool. Now the problem with this is what you've done is you've duplicated not just this hole, but you've duplicated this base that many times as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully, I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to draw a square and try to get only the disk. Okay, so I've got all disks selected at one time. Now if I want to deselect one disk, I hold down my shift and I click that. So I know you don't really see that, but I've deselected one of those disks. Now I can just hit my delete key and get rid of all of the other ones but the one that I deselected, and I'll show you. I'm going to select that and I'm going to drop it down. Okay, so I've only got one disk there. Now I'm going to hit my D key to drop that back to base level. Okay, now if you want to select everything you have here, you can just hit Control A and that'll grab every single object that's here. Alright, now if I want to group that, I can hit Control G, or I can go up here and just hit this. Okay, very cool. So that was a very, very quick way to replicate something going around the circumference of a disk like that. Alright, I hope that was helpful.